What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your daily news report for November 7th. This is a Monday. Big day today because this is one day before the election. Tomorrow is the day. We could see Democrats continue to hold the majority in the House and the Senate, and the expectation is that Republicans will at least win either the House or the Senate, likely the Senate though. I want to address what's going on there, but here's the good news. If we see Congress divided, which means we got a Republican House, we have a Democratic House, and then we have a Democratic president. What this means is, and again, the expectation is this will happen, but it would be impossible to pass a bill over the next 2 years without bipartisan support. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means less swings. That's the big news. Now, I'm going to address that in just a minute, but here's what I can tell you today. We are going to talk about the coming power outages. This is a big deal. This is also going to tie into the U.S. heating crisis, especially up in the Northeast. And at the end of this video, because a lot of people have been asking, hey, I have money, but where do I put it? Well, there is one bank account that you can open, which they will actually give you a $2,000 bonus for depositing your money. So I will address that at the end of this video. All you got to do, stick around and make sure, do me a favor, spend 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's continue. So what does it mean if we have a divided Congress? Well, it means that the House can pass a bill and the Senate could pass a bill. But if the House passes a Democratic version of the bill, chances are the Senate, if they're controlled by Mitch McConnell and Republicans, they are not going to pass the exact same bill. It would have to be a bipartisan bill. Well, what does that mean? If we have a split Congress, that means the stock market is going to be extremely happy, which, again, history tells us this happens every single time. So if you haven't done so, I will put a link down in the description box below. Go and open up a free account with Webull. You can get up to 12 free stocks valued up to $3,600. All you got to do is deposit any amount of money. You got $5, deposit that into Webull, and you can get some stocks valued up to $300 a piece. So that's really good news there. The nice thing is there's a very high likelihood that Congress will be divided. So if you get in now, you potentially are going to ride that on the way up. So that's some good news there. Now, let's address what is potentially going to happen in the upcoming election. Now, we probably all know that, obviously it's very, very contentious lately. Everybody's trying to win their seats. We're getting Democrats bashing Republicans. Republicans are bashing Democrats. We know that, right? Well, here's what I can tell you. We will probably not know who controls the Senate tomorrow. We will likely have to wait at least a few days, potentially all the way into December. And you're probably wondering, why in December? What's going to happen in December? Well, let me tell you. Currently, there are some very tight and critical races in Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. Now, these could take days to get resolved, get the votes counted, and have the, kind of the final tally. But the other key state, just like we had in 2020, is Georgia. Georgia, if no candidate clears the 50% threshold, then there will be something called a Georgia Senate runoff. This is exactly what happened back in 2020, where Republicans and Democrats fought. President Biden went to Georgia, promised the Georgians that he would provide a $2,000 stimulus check if they put the two Democrats through. And guess what? It's exactly what they did. But at this time, the expectations based on polling is that Republicans will either take both the House and the Senate, but most likely just the Senate. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, great, I got to worry about this election. But at the same time, we're seeing power outages all across the country. I want to explain what's going on there. Because on Sunday, so just yesterday, hundreds of thousands of residents were without power across the United States. 40,000 people went without power here in western Washington due to downed trees. Yeah, 40,000. There's another 5,400 customers that went without power in Minnesota, again, due to high winds. Even on Saturday, there was over 2,000 people that were in the dark in western Montana because of wind itself. Now, this is just wind. We're not talking about the power grid going down. We're talking about wind. Now, power outages are not something that we see often here in the United States, but experts say that this could be the new normal. Many now are arguing that our electrical grids are not strong enough to handle the constant overload. And the experts are even predicting that a cold winter and the rise in price in natural gas will likely cause more homes to turn to electric heaters. There's a problem. This means it's going to put more pressure and put more stress on our power grids, which eventually could cause them to go down. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You need to have a plan. If you lose power, what do? How do you keep your cold foods cold and your frozen foods frozen? How do you stay warm? Do you buy more blankets? Do you have a solar powered heater, right? Do you have a generator to possibly power your home for short amounts of time? Or do you have a place where you can go to live with power? Now, I bring this up because I was actually talking to a friend of mine just the other day, and he said it was last night, he said that he sleeps with a CPAP machine. And so his contingency plan, if something like this were to happen, is he travels about 50 to 60 miles away from his home to stay with another friend. Now, the good news is that's exactly what he did yesterday. That he was worried that the power might not come on, so he was staying with his friend, right? Now, so that's the good news. Spoke to him this morning. Everything's good. But that's what he did. He just slept over at his friend's house because he needed to make sure that he could run his CPAP machine. He couldn't do that at his house because his power wasn't on at the time. Hopefully it is now. We'll see. But you have to have a plan just in case. So in the event that power does go out, do you have a plan? And now that we're talking about power outages and heating, let's talk about this crisis that is already unfolding up in the Northeast. Because as of right now, heating oil in New York is the most expensive that it has ever been. We know in Connecticut, retailers are already rationing heating oil to prevent panic buying, because we see this over in Europe. People are panic buying coal, people are panic buying wood, right? It's insane. But again, at the same time, they have to ensure that they have enough supply to get them through the winter. We know the stockpiles of diesel and heating oil in New England are at a third of their normal levels. Somebody asked me the other day, you can't, diesel and heating oil are different. Yes, yeah, in a way. They're taxed differently. I know that, but they're pretty much the same. According to a lot of my research, the diesel and heating oil up in New England are pretty much the same, all right? So when we see this diesel shortage, it also means there's a heating oil shortage as well. Now, again, if you guys have more information on that, you can always elaborate down in the comment section below. I love reading your comments, and it always provides me with more fuel, no pun intended, for the next video, that I can actually go in and provide more updates and more information to all you community members. Also, in Massachusetts, a utility company is actually pushing President Biden to prepare emergency measures to prevent a gas shortage. A lot of people are worried about shortages, and I see why. And all this, again, is happening before the real cold weather comes in. This is part of the problem. We're not even to the even close to the coldest temperatures we are going to see this winter season, and we're already experiencing shortages, price increases, and issues in the home. That's a concern. Now, if you do have money set aside, okay, you should be fine. But the real worry is for those that are on a fixed income. That's who should be worried, because honestly, if you're on a fixed income, you do not have money. The problem is, how do you afford higher prices of fuel and higher prices for your electricity bill or natural gas. It's going to become almost impossible. And speaking of money, let's get right down to where you can get $2,000, a $2,000 bonus just for opening a bank account. Well, here's where. Citi is offering a $2,000 bonus when you deposit and maintain a $300,000 account balance. Now you're probably thinking, I don't have $300,000. If I did, I wouldn't be worried about prices of the energy bill increasing just a little bit. Well, I get what you're saying. Citi will also give you $1,500 for depositing and maintaining a balance of $200,000. Or if you have a balance of $10,000, that will earn you $200. So here's the thing. Now I'm not affiliated in any way with Citi. Okay, I'm not a partner with Citi. Nothing. Am I telling you go open a Citi account? No, I'm not. Understand that banks are using these tactics to try and entice people to put their money back into the bank. Now, here's what I'm doing. A lot of people have asked, well, what are you doing? Are you putting your money into Citi? No. Do I have some money in Citi? Yes, I do. But I have my money spread out in like 7 or 8 different accounts. You need to make sure you are diversified just in case a bank were to go under, a bank limits withdrawals. Maybe you deposit money and there's like, you know what? We'll give you half of that. And the next half will be available in 24, 48, maybe 72 hours. That's why I use multiple banks, and you should too. So, my advice to you: don't get sucked into these deposit $300,000. We'll give you $2,000 if you maintain that for a year. Don't get sucked into that, because usually what happens is you deposit $300,000. Just to give you an example, deposit $300,000, and they're like, yeah, you qualify, but then it drops to $299,995 for, let's say, a month, and well, you got to pretty much start all over because you didn't maintain that $300,000 account balance. That's kind of what happens. That's what banks are pretty much banking on, that you will screw it up so they will never have to pay you that bonus. But just understand, that's how they're enticing you to go and put your money into the bank. Again, I keep some money on me, keep some money at the house, keep a little bit, not much, but just in case for an emergency. So just understand, banks are doing this. This is happening, and some people are kind of getting screwed. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. As always, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.